Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing the song Idioteque, I think, by Radiohead. Um, so, as usual, the song comes to you as a request from one of my viewers. And if you would like to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure to add it to my list. And so, at this point, I've heard a decent amount of Radiohead music. I've heard, I think, most, if not all, of OK Computer, and most, if not all, of In Rainbows. I'll have to double check on that. Then I've heard a couple songs scattered here and there. I've heard a couple songs from Hell to the Thief. I've heard, Creep. I've heard a couple songs from the Bends, I want to say. So yeah, and you can see a few of those reactions here on my channel, but I've heard a decent amount of music from Radiohead, so I can say with full confidence, though, that I've never heard anything from Kid A, this album, that this song comes from. So kind of excited to jump in here and see what they can do in this particular album. So with that said, let's jump right in. Radiohead, Idioteque. Let's do it. Oh, is that how it ends? All right. Hey, I really like that. I think Radiohead is one of those artists where I don't know if I've heard necessarily a bad song from them, or not necessarily a bad song, but a song that I don't like from them so far. Um, I think I can appreciate, all of their different styles. I say all. I have definitely not heard all their different styles, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? Is that I think at the beginning of the video I kind of told you, the different Radiohead songs that I had heard, the different albums that I had listened to, and I do think you can see a transformation in their music across those albums, of course. Um, this one included, right? And so, but what I'm saying is, through all those transformations that I've heard so far, I've enjoyed all of them. So, this one, notwithstanding, this one included, I guess. I enjoyed this song. So let's break it down piece by piece, like we always do, of course, starting with lyrics. And I do want to read this about section here for the song. It says, "This is the eighth track from Kid A, Radiohead's departure from exploring electronic instruments and beats. Idioteque is possibly the greatest departure from their earlier sound. Here is the paranoia of encroaching technology. The central image of the song is a nuclear holocaust as well as global warming. The samples in the background are from minimalist composer Paul Lansky and Arthur Krieger, now a professor of music at Connecticut College. The title could refer either to a collection, tech, of idiots, or a collection of peculiarities, idiosyncrasies, for example. Or it could refer to a dance club, discotheque, run by idiots as a metaphor for the world dancing, i.e., fooling around with meaningless frippery while our destruction approaches. All right, well, let's take a look at the lyrics ourselves and see if that's kind of the message that we get here. So, let's see. Who's in a bunker? Who's in a bunker? Women and children first, and the children first, and the children. I'll laugh until my head comes off. I'll swallow till I burst, until I burst, until I. Who's in a bunker? Who's in a bunker? I have seen too much. You haven't seen enough. You haven't seen it. I'll laugh until my head comes off. Women and children first, and children first, and children. Here I'm alive, everything all of the time. Here I'm alive, everything all of the time. Ice Age coming, Ice Age coming. Let me hear both sides, let me hear both sides, let me hear both. Ice Age coming, Ice Age coming. Throw him in the fire, throw him in the fire, throw him on the. We're not scaremongering. This is really happening. We're not scaremongering. This is really happening. So to back up a little bit, right? Like it starts with like who's in the bunker, right? Fallout shelter, bomb shelter, that kind of thing. And when he says, "Here comes the ice age," I presume that's like nuclear winter. So to me, yeah, this definitely speaks towards this idea of like nuclear war, for example. But what I really thought was interesting, especially as I was listening to it here for the first time, is when he says "Ice Age coming, let me hear both sides." So to me, the Ice Age is from like nuclear war, and instead of agreeing that like, hey, this is a bad thing, it's hey, let's hear out both sides. I feel like it's the same with global warming, right? And the person in the about section kind of mentioned that, where it's like, hey, like 99% of scientists say that this thing is happening, and that it's human caused by humans, and that it is like a serious thing we should worry about. But there's like 1% of scientists who are typically on the payroll of like big oil companies or whatever, and they say like it's nothing to worry about. But let's hear both sides. So I think it's the idea here is that like while we sort of listen to both sides and are sort of bogged down in like bureaucracy and decorum, these things like nuclear war and like global warming are still kind of advancing at an alarming rate. Um, and he says like we're not scaremongering. This is really happening. We're not scaremongering. This is really happening. Mobile's squirking. Mobile's chirping. Take the money and run. Take the money and run. Take the money. And that's truly like what is sort of the catalyst of all this, right? We can't fix climate change because there's money to be made in ignoring it. And so at the end of the day, it's all about taking the money. Here I'm alive, everything all the time. 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 And then the outro, I couldn't really tell what he was saying here, but according to this, it says, and first, and the children first, and the children kind of broken up there. So, which I think is interesting. I think to me, the reason he emphasizes like the children first is that ultimately, like, it is often children who suffer the most in any given crisis, right? Because they are young and they have the rest of their lives ahead of them, and they have to now live with the repercussions and the trauma of what has happened. So I think lyrically, he doesn't necessarily come out and say like, hey, this is about nuclear war or about global warming or about what have you, but I think it's implied enough that you can really pull the meaning from that. Because it is a little bit on the vaguer, like more vague side too, I think you can kind of take your own meaning from it as well. But I'll leave it up to you. To me, the meaning is clear. Maybe it's because I read that about section first, but for you, you might have a different reading of it, and that's totally cool. Anyway, with all that said, lyrically, I enjoyed it. 2 big thumbs up from me. Instrumentally, vocally, I like, and I blank on his name sometimes. Tom York, I want to say. I like his voice in general, but I like what he does here. I feel like he approached this song with like a really appropriate amount of sort of passion based on what the lyrics were about, right? I feel like you can feel sort of the urgency in his voice. There was some nice like layering and harmonizing, I think, throughout the song vocally as well. I really enjoyed instrumentally this sort of electronic style. It's a little bit different, although I would say not too different, because I feel like a lot of the Radiohead songs I've heard have incorporated some sort of non-traditional sort of electronic stylings, along with kind of guitar based or even rock stylings. But I think it wasn't too out of left field. Now I don't know the timeline here. I don't know when Kid A was released. It was like 2000. I don't know when it was released compared to like OK Computer or in Rainbows or what have you. But to me, even though it is a departure from I think the music they were normally making, I don't think it's such a departure that this is like, oh, I can't listen to Kid A because it's just too different from what else Radiohead did. I think it is still similar enough. All that to say that like I really enjoyed the electronic style here. I liked the repetition and the sampling, but also sort of that repetition in Tom York's voice also sort of made his vocals come through in a very instrumental way, if that makes sense, to sort of add to the overall instrumentation of the track. So yeah, I really enjoyed it instrumentally, vocally. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. As far as replay value goes, I think this one definitely makes the playlist. Honestly, a great introduction to this album for me. And I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think what really sticks out are the instrumentals and the vocals, in the sense that like there is a good amount of like passion behind each of them, a good sense of urgency behind each of them, and the lyricism, I think it's very well written. It's a very well written song. So overall, fantastic song. 2 thumbs up for replay value. It's a great one. Thank you so much for whoever requested this song. As always, if you enjoyed the music as much as I did, go support the artists. Go listen to their music wherever you can. And if you want to support me as well, my channel, just do all the normal stuff that you do on YouTube. Like and subscribe and comment with your requests, especially since I'm always taking those. And you can even check the description if you'd like to follow me on Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.